Well, I'm Neil Thompson. I'm a landscape architect, and I did a master plan for Wimbledon Park back in 1998 for Merton, and I've been involved with the Wimbledon Club with this new project since about 2013, looking at how we develop the park for community facilities, and we try and enhance the capability around setting of the landscape and make it look as natural as possible and encourage public access and all those kind of issues. It gets very complicated and very political, and I try to keep out of the politics.
What do you make of what you've heard today?
I'm encouraged because it's very good to see this thing going forwards. I think there's been a big hiccup by the Merton Masterplan when we couldn't move forward because the council officers weren't talking to us. This is in a sense building on their master plan, doing things that are actually taking their master plan forwards in more detail. To present this to other councillors and to start getting more people involved is excellent. The lake issue is particularly interesting because back in 1998 I was commenting through other consultants working with me on we have to sort out the lake first as the priority. We have to make sure the lake works either by changing water levels, desilting, replanning it before, because that might condition everything else that happens in terms of any disruption that might cause. So I was very interested in Dave Dawson's comments on minimum intervention, reducing the levels. And I think there's still more questions to answer from him on what the ecological consequences might be of what he's doing and the benefits. But I found that particularly interesting from my point of view on that.
And with so many different ideas being put forward, how important is it that all the different groups can come together and work together?
Fundamental, absolutely fundamental. And I think particularly important in that context, you have the right person leading the negotiations, the master planning process, and both Nick and Martin seem very good at that, much better than I would be. I'm more of a designer in the background, not so good on that kind of level of arguing points with disagreeable people or people who may have genuine concerns which may clash with somebody else's genuine concerns. It's that kind of arbitration skill on this kind of job is critical to take it forwards. So that was also encouraging because I didn't know Nick very well, and I've known Martin for a long time. So I was interested to see how they talked and how they presented, and I thought they did it very well.
And how important is it that, should any plans get given the go-ahead, that they are sympathetic to the capability Brown setting us in?
Fairly important in principle, but capability Brown was on a much more massive scale, and for one client and his family and their particular views, and this is a totally different. This is thousands of people experiencing a small space, so the whole fundamental is being approached from a different direction. But some of the spirit of creating that sort of naturalistic setting and trying to make sure that some of the critical views and which go back in time are restored, enhanced. Very, very important. And there's quite a lot of things in around the park which need to go because they're out of keeping and out of character, both in the public park and on the other land, on the other owners' lands. So yes, it is. That principle is very important.
Can I ask, what was the remit for the plans that you've put forward this time, and how do they differ from the ones you put forward in, was it 98?
Yes, well, the remit is different because in 98 we didn't know what to do with the athletic stadium, and the feeling was, well, will the athletic stadium be here forever? Will it go somewhere else? Don't get involved in trying to develop a brief for the athletic stadium. Leave that alone and just see how you can improve the setting of the athletic stadium, which involved on my 1988 plan just getting rid of all the line of Leylandii trees and opening it up and sculpting the landscape around it so that it was slightly more harmonious into that setting. So at that stage we didn't have a user brief for how we could up the use of the stadium and all those facilities in that particular area of the park. So this is in a sense an evolution from that time and taking it forward.